All right, I saw this video on YouTube. I saved it to watch it. It says it's called Fairy Tale Series Analysis Part One, Lullaby Arc. I don't know how this guy's going to, be about reviewing it or talking about it. If it's trolling or actually like giving good criticism or actually just enjoying it or saying, "Oh, this part's good, this part's bad." I don't know, but I guess we're going to see how he feels about the Lullaby arc. Let's get into it.
All right, let's fucking do this. So today we're going to be talking about anime, specifically an action shonen anime a la Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and so on. It's a tried and true moneymaker for the anime industry, even with the onslaught of isekai anime rolling in since the 2010s. I am not the target audience for this genre anymore, and I wasn't a huge fan of it even when I was in the target range, save for a few properties, namely Hunter x Hunter. That said, like any genre, individual entries can have a very strong core, fun characters, and interesting worlds to get lost in a way that I think is only replicated by other long-form storytelling mediums, such as long fantasy series and others along those lines. It just so happens that most of these shonens kind of suck. I think it's a really, really hard genre to get right, and the trap that most properties fall into is starting very strong and falling off very quickly after that, such as what happened with My Hero Academia, which, let's be honest here, peaked in season 2 and from there was disappointing more often than it wasn't.
Okay, with My Hero, I didn't watch it because I just personally didn't vibe with it. It felt a little kiddish. I felt like it could never get as serious, as dark as other anime. Obviously, an anime doesn't need to be dark for it to be good, but it just felt that way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like anything. I feel like the heroes are always going to win in the end. Obviously, like I don't know. I just didn't vibe with My Hero. And then with all the other people who watched it, it felt like, oh my god, like, kind of pissed me off. It kind of took me away from it. And then the fandom itself, after I was hearing like the things they say, the things they do, the things they fucking cry about, I was like, yeah, I'm good on my Hero Academia stocks, bruh. Like after season 2, I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Fairy Tale is a shonen created,
and even then, I try to watch it like a few times, bro. I swear, because when I want to rewatch something or when I want to watch something, I start from episode 1 to the current. I've watched season 1 and 2 like 4 times trying to get back into it. I just couldn't, bro. I actually just couldn't. So yeah.
By Hiro Mashima, previously known for creating Rave Master. This show is honestly almost identical to Rave Master down to the designs of some of the characters, with the difference lying mostly in their anime adaptations, because Rave Masters was bad. As the intro to most episodes explains, this is a verdant world full of wizards that wield various schools of magic, though not in the Harry Potter or Elder Scrolls sense. No, this magic is far looser in its application, as we'll see later, with one person generally having a single type of magic, such as our main character using Fire Dragon Slayer magic, and then whoever wields that type of magic has an infinite number of attacks within that class as the plot needs. Anyway, these wizards all operate.
I like how he says that. Okay, to me, obviously, it's probably not a diss, but it felt like a diss. But like, Goku can do the same. I swear, I'm going to name other popular anime, well-known anime that people love and adore, regardless of your personal opinions on things like One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach. Those are beloved anime. Those are well-known anime. That's why it's even being brought up now. Goku can pull up a random ass key attack that we never seen. Luffy has how many fucking named attacks, bro? And considering his abilities now, he can literally just do anything. So like, why?
Out of different guilds, the most famous and powerful of which being Fairy Tail. The story follows the exploits of several members of the Fairy Tail Guild as they battle other wizards and protect the name and reputation of their friends and their guild. The first episode sees a wandering wizard, Lucy Heartfilia, meeting a rambunctious and their guild. The first episode sees a
don't let your eyes wander. She's underage in a European-style world, so she's underage.
Wandering wizard Lucy Heartfilia meeting a rambunctious fire wizard named Natsu Dragneel, who reveals himself to be a member.
I feel like you're not underage no more.
fairy tale and offers to help her join the guild.
Maybe
which is her
here
dream.
she is,
After
but
that
I
initial
know
episode,
definitely
we have
after
a
she's
few
not.
mini arcs which comprise only 1 or 2 episodes that don't really do much for the series other than introduce more celestial spirits for Lucy and try and give her an excuse to be there. Before we jump into our first arc,
I feel like that first arc gave us a lot of information on certain things, like different types of guilds, different types of magic, and obviously just different type of jobs you go on, and not only how to complete the jobs, but do better than what the job tells you. The job was to just destroy the book, but Lucy didn't do that. She figured out what the book's meaning was. You know, I felt like that was a lot, and it also showed a lot of character from Natsu about him just not taking a reward because that wasn't the job that they requested. I feel like that was a very good like mini arc to show us how the world of fairy tale actually is, aside from just the first episode with actual guilds and mercenary guilds and even different types of magic, and different, like I feel like that was really good. So I'm not gonna say those those second two episodes were just not worth.
land of into our first arc, This ain't no fucking Land of Waves arc, I'll tell you that. Alright, before we get too deep into things, let's go over how this video is going to go. Fairy Tail is not a good show. It's
Here we go.
over 300 episodes long, and if you choose to subject yourself to it, I think you'll probably come away from it thinking the same as me, that it was one of the most show of all time. Let's not make any assumptions that aren't necessary. It's a low-quality production designed to turn the highest possible profit by capitalizing on teenage boys loving flashy effects, big muscly dudes, and chick with booba. And they do this by stealing from basically everything imaginable, most prominently being One Piece, right down to the art style. Now, I'm not that well
Okay, let's go through all this. Main character has a treat clothing item, Natsu scarf, that was given to them by a father figure. You can say Goku's gi is also given to him. Say what? Who else? Ichigo's dad gives him a little talisman. I mean, I feel like that shouldn't be a problem to you. Main female. Jesus Christ. Main female lead has exaggerated and casual violent reactions to main character antics. That's every anime. Guild and pirate crews are framed with similar things, friendship, adventure. Every show has that. Guildars Shanks play the same role in each story and are very similar in design. Very similar in design? Play the same role? No. Main character is socially awkward and frequently causes trouble for their teammates. Like these are main character tropes, bro. Main character has an ironic physically raw Natsu adventure, gets motion sick, Luffy, pirate, can't swim. Okay, these are both due to their abilities, not just because they can't. Large part of some arcs see the main group directly opposing the government, Magic Council, the Navy. That's because they're just what? Most arcs slash saga involve the main team fighting an evil group where everyone inevitably gets into one-on-one death matches with their counterparts. This is every arc. What are we talking about? An early arc sees main female lead Urza slash Nami. That's not the main female lead. Be slash have been a slave with a focus on a particular location where the enslavement happened, with the main character slash team building in and helping. Okay, my thing with all these 9 things he said, yes, if you look at it side by side in that abridged way, yes, those things are very similar. Yes, a lot of characters do look the same. They do have a lot of things in common. They do have all that type of stuff, but it's the execution of it. Ursa and Nami's backstory are nowhere close to being the same. Told narratively, they're not the same. Obviously, if you fucking abridge it down to, oh, they're both slaves and, had someone else to come save them, obviously it's going to be the same, you know what I'm saying? But for me, the two backstories are completely different. One's about literal survival, and the other one is about just making bad choices. You know, and and even if these are, if you guys want to consider these very or pretty much the same thing, I don't see the problem with that. Cause let's be honest, One Piece is the best anime ever. How the fuck is something else gonna be apparently a 1-to-1 copy and not be as good? How does that work? So, hey, whatever argument you want to say, let me know in the comments.
First in
Let's
One
keep going.
Piece as of writing this part of the script. I'm about 120 chapters in and counting, so maybe you'll get a few comparisons here and there, but more often I'll be giving examples from other series that I think illustrate my points in a less direct way. In my opinion, comparing Fairy Tail to One Piece too heavily when they can be so similar in tone and feel won't really allow us to dig into how and why this show fucks up where it does, which is weird to say, but I promise it'll make sense.
Okay, we can throw
basically,
some other ones
I
in the
will
mix.
make a complaint, explain my complaint with no comparison, and then offer an example of whatever I'm complaining about.
What shonen what shonen MC is smart as fuck and knows everything about the world and knows how to talk and you know, some of these characters that he's pointing out, Luffy, Naruto, Natsu, they didn't have parents. They didn't really have parents to look at them and say, "Hey, you gotta act a certain way. Hey, this is how you talk to people. Hey, this is how things go. Hey, this is how you know." They didn't have those, so it's completely logical that they would come out this way. Let's be honest.
About being done better. Capiche? So, story setup, Fairy Tail Guild, Natsu and Lucy, yada yada. Natsu has a rivalry with fellow wizard Grey Fullbuster, that is a tasty morsel. It's a dick! But is forced to work with him because of his comical fear of the strongest female wizard in the guild, Erza Scarlet. The three plus Lucy are to track down members of a dark guild called Eisenwald, as they're up to no good. And boy oh boy, it turns out that they're naughty little children, because they're going to play a magical flute that kills anyone that hears its song. Don't ask me why the person that actually plays the flute would do so, considering they'd hear it and then die, because the show doesn't care either.
I feel like if that were to happen, that would have been like, that's what you get type thing. Because it's a dark item. Dark items don't have benefits to them. They always have a downside to what it does. In any anime, any parts of media, if it's a dark item, it's going to be something inherently not good at all. So him trying to use it probably would kill him. Yes. And they probably didn't even think of that at the start because I feel like a lot of things the characters didn't know this time, Zeref included. Zeref made an item. You know what Zeref tried to do? Off himself. So maybe he made this flute to try and off himself. So, hey.
In any case,
it makes sense to me.
Beats up resident main bad guy Aragorn, while Fairy Tail's guildmaster Makarov talks down another villain from using the Lullaby flute that the arc is named after, which would have been used to kill the other guildmasters present. And then a big demon pops out of the flute anyway that Natsu, Grey, and Erza have to beat up for a while. The end. You'll notice very quickly when going...
Oh, Luffy walks into Arlong Park and fights a bunch of fishmen, and then Zoro also fights fishmen. So does Sanji. Luffy falls underwater for a bit. We have to save him. Up. Luffy gets out the water. Up. He beats Arlong's ass. Up. Everyone's happy. The end. I can abridge shit too. I'm just saying we could do this. You know, we can go band for band.
Through Fairy Tail, that very few arcs lead naturally into each other. This isn't necessarily a problem. I mean,
it shouldn't be a problem
in its first saga, but it sets a precedent that each of these arcs is going to be more episodic than serialized. There are very few threads teased about future arcs to hype you up about them, and it's very cut and dry with few consequences that stem from each arc into the next. This particular effect of the episodic arc structure is one that's usually phased out early on in shonen. For example, in Naruto, even though the Land of Waves arc is very disconnected from the rest of Part 1, the Chunin exams set up both the search for Tsunade and the Sasuke retrieval arcs because of the actions of Orochimaru in it, which in turn has direct consequences for the rest of the series in Shippuden, or Part 2 if you read the manga. Likewise, the York New City arc is set up at the end of the Hunter exam in Hunter x Hunter and involves the goals of both Gon and Kurapika as set up in that arc as well. And the Namek saga comes as a direct result of the casualties incurred during the Saiyan saga in Dragon Ball, and so on and so forth. The only time this really happens in Fairy Tail, sort of, is the Grand Magic Games happening in the way that it does as a result of the time skip incurred by the Tenro Island arc. But that's much more peripheral than the other examples, and ultimately it doesn't end up mattering all that much, as any justification for it could have been explained away with a hand wave and no one would bat an eye. But hey, you know what? That's okay, because all things considered, Lullaby is a fairly strong arc to start with, though it is extremely big.
Hold on, I'm trying to think about that first point. How he said all the arcs, most of the arcs aren't like structured together, where it seems like each arc could be placed wherever the fuck they want it to be, and I'll give you that. But like, why is that a problem? I mean, if you're the type of guy to go to the episode list and start with episode 29 and then jump to episode 115, that's on you, my nigga. I learned to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? If anything, also this is an adventure anime. Obviously, most of these arcs don't go together because it's implied that they go on adventures in between arcs all the time. It's implied that shit. So obviously, most of the arcs aren't gonna be mixed together if they go in on adventures in between arcs all the time. So yeah, I feel like it's fine. I've never really seen it as a problem. And shit, I'll be honest with y'all. Writing an anime, writing a manga, which is something I've been doing on my own time, it is kind of hard to intermingle arcs together. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have a reason for the next arc to happen due to something that happened in the current arc. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard.
Basic, only comprising around 4 episodes and being very bare-boned in its plot structure. The fights are short, sweet, and to the point. This Shikamaru-looking ass is a delectable villain lackey and way better than Aragorn, the main villain of the arc. But other than that, this one mostly serves as an introduction to both Gray and Urza's different magics, because the prior mini-arcs set up both Natsu and Lucy's very well. One disappointing thing about this arc is that it very quickly devolves into the power of friendship trope, and this is going to
Where did it go there here? You see how he automatically just said power of friendship? Where the fuck is there power of friendship in here?
remain true for the majority of them.
I'm not even kidding. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, he just said his friends, but he doesn't like, you know. I'm not even saying that. Where the fuck did that come from?
Going forward, the main character of the arc is going to be losing, and then they're going to get a motivational speech, or they'll flash back to a pivotal lesson they learned from a mentor, and then beat the bad guy, because that's just what happens in these shows. It's tedious, but that's how Natsu defeats Aragorn, along with...
I wouldn't consider that power of friendship, though. I wouldn't consider that power of friendship because he used something that he learned to beat the villain. What the fuck? What more can you ask for? Bro, what the hell?
The flame of emotion. In Fairy Tail, not only are my friends my power, but so are my emotions.
That's literally what...
I guess. So Natsu gets really pissed off and burns away Aragorn's wind. Neat. Truth be told, the arc should have ended immediately after Makarov talks down the king of the court and makes him surrender. Instead, a big dumb demon pops up out of the flute because reasons, and there's a very short skirmish with it. And I do mean short. It's like 5 minutes. Like, if this happened in any other show, this would have led to a whole other arc where the heroes have to figure out a way to stop this thing.
No, it wouldn't.
And here, it's over in 5 minutes. Neat.
What's the problem with that?
That's not even mentioning the structure of the arc, which is the heroes chasing Aragorn to a place, in this case being a train station, getting trapped, fighting his lackeys, and then fighting him on a bridge. It is a very basic structure that barely holds together, though the humor found within, while somewhat repetitive, is pretty funny at times, like when Urza's violent nature makes her headbutt everyone she's trying to interrogate for information. But guys, really, we have to judge this arc and all the rest based on one thing and one thing only. Is it cool? That's the draw of the show. None of it is going to make any sense. There's next to no setup to anything that happens past the first couple of arcs, and you know damn well I don't make videos about stuff that has good character development, so this is all that we're left with. And we get the flame of emotion. Yeah, okay.
I'll be back to this.
My arc isn't very good, but let's put things into perspective here. Fairy Tail is like a 2 out of 10. We can't be expecting much from it compared to other shows. We're not going to get the depth of character of Hunter x Hunter or the superb build-up and pay. compared to these other shows.
This is a fight scene from episode 2 of Fairy
We're
Tail.
not going to get
Let's see the whole clip, by the way.
emotion. Yeah, okay, so the Lullaby arc isn't very good, but let's put things into perspective here. Fairy Tail is like a 2 out of 10. We can't be expecting much from it compared to these other shows. We're not going to get the depth of character of Hunter x Hunter or the superb build-up and payoff of Naruto. We are going to...
By the way, they use that same animation for Black Star all the time. For a comparison, this is from Samurai 5 years before Fairy Tail, another good director. Another thing is you gotta look at the budget for things.
Get surface level stories,
you know,
surface level
it ain't just
character,
about
nothing more. Much like Kingdom Hearts.
I'm sorry for talking when he's talking. It's a lot more than just oh, this anime was aired this time. This anime was aired this time. Soul Eater had a way higher budget, and I'm guessing it did because I say its animation still holds up today. And I'm sure that other shit, that samurai shit he showed, also had pretty good budget if it was released 5 years before Fairy Tail. So let's not even play. And I'm gonna look up some other stuff while he talks. Hold on.
This is a series that is defined by its emotions above all else, and Fairy Tail is actually much more overt about that than anything else I've ever seen in my life. The poster child for this attitude is Natsu himself. He's brash, passionate, loud, obnoxious, and incredibly stupid while also being stupidly powerful. He is the definition of having 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place, and that's okay. We know he's not going to develop, so we can appreciate how he is, at least this early on into the series. His gimmicks of motion sickness and petulant anger are endearing, his proclamations of friendship are genuine, and he's voiced by 2 incredible voice actors, Tetsuya Kakihara in Japanese and Todd Haberkorn in English, who lend an affability to the character that I think he lacks in the original manga.
Alrighty! What do you say we head back to the guild?
We got a problem.
It ain't a problem! It's actually a lot of fun! You should try it!
Yeah, come on, do it!
じゃあ魔法じゃなきゃいいんだろう大したことねえじゃねえか外は使えんだろアドバイスサンキューな
Which foundation?
Yeah, his voice is great. I didn't find nothing. They did release in like the same year though.
His biggest issue throughout the show is that he's a very reactive character, when his personality would lead you to believe anything but. He's never actively seeking something or someone out to push the plot forward. He's always doing what he does either because he gets annoyed at someone, such as in the next arc, or more often because someone hurt or insulted his friends.
Just like Luffy. This kind of scene should have happened way sooner, maybe against Loxus during the Battle of Fairy Tail arc, which could lead into an even better moment than this already was, where Natsu learned an entirely different lesson
I'll
from
go
Guild
much
arcs.
further into Natsu during the Tenro Island arc, where the show plays at actually developing him, but for now, I do like his Fire Dragon Slayer magic, and think it was a good choice for a main power set. In battle manga, you tend to have a mix of scalable and non-scalable powers, and we're going to look at Naruto to see what I mean. Naruto's abilities scale very well, with his Nine-Tails chakra and his Rasengan able to grow and expand as the series needs him to improve, into the Rasen Shuriken, to the Odama Rasengan, stuff like that. The same can be said, though it's debatable how much of this was planned or made up on the spot by Kishimoto, for Sasuke's
Definitely made up on
Sharingan
the spot.
abilities developing into the Mangekyo Sharingan, into the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, into the Renegan. Then you have characters like Shikamaru and Neji, who have interesting or powerful abilities early on when they're introduced in the Chunin exams, but who completely fall down the power scale without clever tactics by the time of the war arc near the end, due to their powers, in layman's terms, controlling people via their shadows and fast punching, not being scalable compared to the powers of the villains. Like, what is Neji supposed to do against Pain? You feel me? Looking at Natsu, his abilities are flexible enough to be as strong as the plot needs. While I would very much like some actual development on them, such as Natsu working on developing a new spell, or maybe having a training arc to obtain a new form once he learns of it, I think for what Fairy Tail is trying to accomplish with his character, Natsu's powers are fine. That said, I have a complaint tangent. Alright, so at the
Here we
end
go.
of
Let's
this arc,
hear it.
Natsu enters this, like, super state because he's really pissed off and powered by friendship. The way
Okay.
the series frames it is incredibly similar to the way that it frames Naruto when he has the
Hell
Nine-Tails
no.
Chakra Cloak against Haku in the Land of Waves. And my dumb brain got to thinking how cool, if completely aping off of that other series, to have the secret to Dragon Slayer magic be that Natsu essentially consumed his draconic father Igneal, and this was him tapping into that power. Nothing like this happens. It's just a visual thing. Natsu gets no development on his powers as the series continues. Okay, rant over. I
Not true,
unironically think that the
but-
super version of Goku is based more on Natsu than he is on Goku from Z. Don't at me. Now we'll get to the other characters as the
What?
story focuses on them, as conveniently, the next 3 arcs are going to primarily focus on the ramifications of one specific character's backstory, before concluding with a kind of bookend to this first season of the show of around 50 episodes, with another generally focused arc about Natsu and his struggle to overcome an opponent as its main hook, such as this one was with him versus Aragorn. And I apologize that I've been making a lot of general statements and referencing future arcs. We're going to be going into much more detail on specific elements in arcs where I think they matter. So this is really just an introduction to everything like that and kind of how I generally feel about the show.
People who make videos and script their shits, bro. You guys are way better than me, bro. I could never do that shit, bro.
For
Never.
now, though, let's look at the opening theme. Fairy Tail has 26 openings and endings, and we're going to go through every single one.
Why?
Not in great detail, but in enough to give my thoughts. Snow Fairy by Funkist is the first opening of Fairy Tail, and unlike
good.
every single one after this, at least in the show's first run, it doesn't match any specific arc, likely because this beginning stretch of the story is so scattershot that even the Lullaby arc would barely even count. Again, it's like 4 episodes.
I'm not trying to get copyrighted again.
Even if the
Oh.
visual cohesion isn't the best, and there's literally 0 shot continuity. I will say that it does bother me just a little bit because of the final little sequence of Nata and Urza fighting, which matches episode 9. The shot makes it seem like this is a friendly competition, and in the episode that it matches, this is exactly what it is. However, in the second opening, Natsu and Gajeel have the same demeanor as this, but that fight in the show itself is super heated and antagonistic because he's like the main villain of the arc. Bad consistency is bad. The first ending theme is Kanpekigu no Ne, translated as perfect, right? And it is absolutely fucking adorably trite. It features Lucy in front of this wheel, which we'll be seeing a lot, and it's all about romance and dreams, and I mean, it's fine. I have no attachment to it, and whenever I hear it start to play in the last bits of episodes, it never fails to take me out of a scene. Thankfully, the next chunk of the show has a much better ending theme, and honestly is a huge improvement over the Lullaby arc, but I figured we could save that until after we talk about it. So, without further ado, let's move on to...
Alright, yeah. I think, for the most part, I feel like his assessment was pretty just. Obviously, I said a few comments, but I just feel like a lot of people like to just go with certain things and not actually like understand certain things. And my thing is, I'll never understand this. How can something be a complete carbon copy, apparently, and not be as good as the original? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm joking. Obviously, things that are copied from other things aren't going to be as good as the original, but you guys claim it as such that it's such a copy that it's literally the same thing. How is it not good? You know what I'm saying? But so far, I wouldn't have any real problems with the Lullaby arc. I feel like a lot of things happen decently, right? I don't know. I thought that was a fine arc to me. But anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Other than that, I'm gonna get better. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.